Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and in this video we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. So in the early hours of this morning, my time, Hot Toys went ahead and announced another wave of the Hot Toys Summer Showcase exclusives. We got another 4 figures. Even after the excitement of that Kenobi Vader yesterday, they've gone and given us another 4 drops. And in fairness, there's none of these drops. I don't think there's a weak one in the bunch. They're one in particular is very, very unique, and it's going to have a lot of the 90s people and sci-fi fans very excited, myself included. So before we actually take a look at these 4 different figures and all the different images, I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone who has basically supported the channel. I woke up this morning and had a notification on my phone from YouTube Studio informing me that I hit 1,000 subscribers. So a massive thank you to anyone who's watched any of the videos, liked any of the videos, left a comment, and particularly to all those people who chose to click that subscribe button and support the channel and help me grow the channel. It's humbling, it's massively appreciated. Thank you very much. So yeah, so basically gonna keep doing content, and today I've cleared my schedule because of the drops and stuff. I'm just going to make a load of content, probably going to go live as well at some point, so thank you very much. Right, let's take a look at the first drop. So just there were 4 in total. There was the Tobey Spider-Man, there was a Robocop from Robocop 3, there was the inevitable Mark III 2.0, which it needed 2.0, and then Mighty Thor. They've actually gone and done it. We're going to look at them all, so strap in. This is going to be a slightly longer video. And yeah, we'll take a look at everything. We're going to start off with the Spider-Man. So this is obviously the Toby Mcguire Spider-Man, as seen in Spider-Man No Way Home. And it comes with a sand base. There's 2 different versions. There's deluxe and a regular. Now look, I don't have prices for any of these yet. I haven't done that yet. I will do pre-order previews on all of these figures individually. So I'll do one on Toby and one on Mark III and one on Robocop and one on Mighty Thor individually when I have the price points for them. You know, we can speculate, but just full disclosure, I don't know specifically what the prices are in any retailers yet. So this is Toby Mcguire, and it's the Spider-Man based on No Way Home. There's a deluxe version and a regular version. There's also like this bonus part if you like order early, or probably with Sideshow or whatever, if you really want to go down that. I don't really care about this part, to be honest, and I don't really care about the sand base either. I know a lot of people wanted a Sandman and a lot of people wanted a lizard, but like a lot of people predicted, they've given us bases for each. Now look, it's probably better than nothing. At least you have the representation of all of those different villains, because now you'd have the base for Reptile, the base for Sandman, and then you could have Ock, the Green Goblin, and Electro. So look, at least they did make an effort, but for me it doesn't make a difference because I'm not going to get those bases. I'm not the biggest fan of Lizard or Sandman, but look, you have the option of some sort of representation, albeit not maybe necessarily the representation of Lizard or Sandman that you particularly wanted in your collection. First impressions of this figure, it looks super. I love the suit, I love the webbing, I like that kind of like silvery white. It looks like kind of almost like a silver. I know it's kind of like a white or an off-white, but it just really pops on top of the red. Eyes look great. So we'll just have a look at everything that comes with. So if you order early, you get this tentacle. You know, the deluxe version, you get the Sandman base and has the scaffolding as well from the kind of Statue of Liberty. You've got the Toby Mcguire head sculpt, which I will zoom in on later on. I think looks great. You have this device that they use to cure the Sandman, and then obviously the suit. So you know, it has the the masked sculpt, the unmasked sculpt, and then the mask that he can hold in his hand, because obviously he doesn't have nanotech or anything. The usual webs and a heap of swap out hands. So just gonna go back a bit here to, that's basically the deluxe without the exclusive part, and let's go look at some of these images. Suit looks good, proportions look good. I like the way the suits are all different, and I think I have gone and committed to getting all 3. What I mean by that is the final 3 suits from No Way Home. The integrated suit for Tom Holland, the one with the golden Spider-Man, actually quite like that suit. The Toby that you can see on here, but I'm going to get the regular version, and the same for Andrew. Pardon, talking too much. Yeah, so I'm obviously skipping on the 2 bases because I just don't have any interest in them anyway, and I like the way that they gave us the option to get them separately. Like so, I will get the Toby and the Andrew. Haven't pre-ordered obviously because there's no point. I love this close-up. it just really highlights the subtle differences. Like there's so much going on here. So you have the lenses with all these little, it almost looks like a honeycomb texture inside on the actual white, the silvery white eye. Then the webbing here is not quite white or grey or silver. It's kind of like almost like a silvery white or silvery grey. It's hard to tell here. Like the shine, maybe from the flash or something they use, makes it look whiter here, but then over here it looks a bit darker. So it just looks really, really good. The spider looks great as well, and the texture, obviously this is going to be raised above the red part, and even the red has kind of like texture of the fabric going on there. So there's a lot going on there for a 6 scale figure. You know, you have the usual creasing that you'll probably expect, but like, you know, even in, you know, if that was real world and Spider-Man was actually wearing a fabric suit, you know, it would crease. But I suppose the proportions of these creases are going to be more obvious because it's a 6 scale figure. I think the head sculpt looks great and his hair is on point. Like, this is what he looked like in the movie. I think this is a really, really strong head sculpt. Now, they might have been a bit kind to him, like he looks fresher here, because in the movie, I still thought, you know, he looks well for a man of his age. But like, you know, you could tell he was definitely older. They've definitely been kind to him here. They have de-wrinkled him a bit, I think. He definitely looks fresh-faced, but I'm happy with this head sculpt. I'm really happy with this head sculpt. It looks like Toby Mcguire from Far From Home. Yeah, a bit fresher, kind of like when the DX19. The DX19 is, you know, originally they marketed it as the Dark Knight Rises, so Christian Bale was older and he was, you know, a bit more haggard looking because that was the character he was playing, because Batman hadn't been on the scene for like 8 years. But then when the head sculpt came, they had been kind to him, it was a bit fresh. And in the prototype images as well, it was fresh. But of course, when the DX19 got released, they branded it the Dark Knight Trilogy, so it could stand in for the Dark Knight as well. But yeah, look, I think this head sculpt is very, very strong. I see Toby Mcguire here. I see no problem. Yeah, a bit kind to him, but no, I have no problem. I think this is a strong head sculpt. I think it's a solid 8. Maybe even higher. Is it a 10? I don't think it's a 10, but I think it's really, really strong. I go 8, maybe 8.5, maybe even a 9. I'm going to take a look at it and keep looking at it. But I just think that looks fantastic. Proportions look good. I love this pose because if I was to get the 3 of these and I pose them in 5 detolfs. So I think like prime real estate is the middle detolf, obviously, and I think it's the second shelf from the top, because I have risers, so the bottom shelf gets attention as well. But I think prime real estate around eye level when I'm standing up is maybe eye level probably a bit higher than that, but I think prime real estate, middle detolf, and second from the top. So that's why I've got, you know, my favorite figure in there at the moment, the Mark 6. But I think it'd be great if I had the 3 Spider-Men, so Andrew, Toby and Tom in there, posed in some version of the pointing meme with their, you know, showing the sculpts, because I want to show up those sculpts. This is fantastic. I think the Andrew Garfield one is very strong as well, and holding their mask, kind of, you know, like holding the mask in one hand, maybe pointing with another hand. I think it'd be a really nice eye-catching display, so that's what I have in mind for that. So I'm really happy they did this. We all knew they were going to do this. They teased the meme and then they dropped Andrew, so they're not going to not drop Toby. Another, of course, option is to, you know, pose them in the 3 jumping poses, maybe some fishing wire or some sort of transparent wire. Yeah, I think this is good. I see no problem here. I think the base looks kind of goofy, to be honest. I have no interest in it. It's not going near that base. But then again, if you're a big Sandman fan, or if you're like a die-hard comic book fan, I'm a fair weather comic book fan. I work backwards on comic books. It's like, I've said it before, I see a movie or trilogy I really like and I hear the director has quoted some graphic novel or comic book series as a direct influence, and I just make it my business to read those comic books to kind of give respect to the original writers and original, you know, people who do the lettering and the artists, and I like to see what the director took, you know, what parts they took and what parts they omitted. I think that's a whole lot of fun. Geeky, nerdy fun, but fun all the same. So yeah, look, I think this is actually, I think I prefer this than the Amazing Spider-Man one that they showed. So yeah, like that's pretty much the summary of my thoughts. How much is this going to be? I think the deluxe is going to be over $400, to be honest, which is another advantage for me, because it's like I don't have to get the base because I'm not going to use it. I'm not the big Sandman fan, or I'm not the big Lizard fan, so I think the head sculpt is very strong. I mean, I have heard nothing about this. I saw Riley and KG go live today, and as usual, I was like, oh, they're live. Check their Instagram, sure enough. Shout out to Riley and KG. If you haven't followed them on Instagram, you're doing it wrong. They actually know Hot Toys are going to drop stuff before Hot Toys actually drop stuff. Also check out their channels as well and subscribe to them. Subscribe to them on YouTube and follow them. They're just really nice guys. They're the next generation of collectors. They are wise heads on young shoulders. This looks good. I don't know anyone's opinion on this, Toby, so this is just my pure uninfluenced opinion. I tend to speak my mind anyway, but this looks like Toby Mcguire. I think it's a great head sculpt. He looks a bit young. That's kind of my synopsis on that. Price point, I think this deluxe version is going to be over $400. And sadly, I think the regular version could be like, I think it's going to be silly. I think it could be like $330 or something. Hopefully it's down lower. Hopefully it's like $285 or $265. But I honestly, the pricing is all over the shop. I have no idea, so I'm purely speculating because I don't know. But I'm hoping, like, if I go all the way back to here, and look at, right, so this stuff comes with the deluxe. So really, for the regular, you're getting everything here. It's basically the Spider-Man, regular head sculpt, masked head sculpt, the fabric mask, webs that come with every Spider-Man ever, hands. There's not much in this little device that they use to cure them, as they say. So, I mean, that doesn't justify $300 for me, so I'd imagine $265, but factoring in like silly inflation and stuff, could be $285. I think it's gonna be around, I'm gonna shoot with $265. I could be way off it, but I don't think, no, I think I'll probably be within $20 of the correct price point. I'd say about $265. I think Andrew was about $285. Yeah, that's my thoughts on this. We're gonna move on to the Robocop. Where the f did this come from? In fairness, look, I am a diehard science fiction fan, and I love 80s and 90s science fiction. Terminator, Robocop, Aliens, Predator, The Matrix. It was released in '99. It is a 90s film, which explains some of the sequels. So for me, the two Robocop films are Robocop 1 and 2. And I was speaking to Mafia today. I hadn't seen Robocop 3 in a long time. Like last night, Mafia was Anthony from 6 Million. Mafia was on Visions last night, and you know, we were talking about 90s sci-fi, and he was like, he'd love to a Robocop and stuff like that. But he was saying that Peter Weller, I don't think, was in number 3. And I haven't seen number 3 in a long time because it's like I didn't go back to it. I recently rewatched 1 and 2. But I remember 3 being just a bit jumping the shark, and I thought this whole jetpack thing, as cool as the jetpack looks, I thought, it's a bit silly. It's like those, those kind of like jetpacks they have, you see them sometimes. I've seen them before, people get into them, they can go around. It's actually a thing. This is what it looks like. So this film was actually a bit ahead of its time. But I thought, yeah, there's no way that jetpack's going to be able to lift him. He looks like super heavy. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be getting this and just posing it straight up and down with the gun, myself possibly included. Now there is a MMS 202, which is basically the Diecast Robocop, which has swap out chest plates and battle damaged helmet. And then you have, I think it's a DX version. It's like the 203 and has another code on it where you get the Diecast Robocop with the clean parts, the battle damage parts for the helmet and the chest, and the chair. I think that's the one to get because it's ultimate. You can pose him clean, you can pose him battle damaged, and you can pose him with the chair. Because the chair played a big role in those first 2 movies anyway. So I'm gonna get a Robocop. It's just a question if do I get this and leave the jetpack in the box and just pose him, either with the battle clean with the gun or battle damage with the gun, or do I keep an eye on the secondary market? Because now I think a lot of these things, they might actually start to drop in price and become a bit more reasonable because the new one's coming out, because a lot of people want the new one, even though it's probably from the weakest of the 3 films. Was there a 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. I don't know if there was a 4, I don't think I watched it. Or maybe I did, I can't remember. Anyway, so we're going to go through this because I'm excited about this because I know now that I'll be able to get, at the very least, a straight up and down Robocop with the gun. Because, like, I'm probably not going to be able to tell the difference between 1 and 2. I know that they're slightly different shades of silver or blue. The jetpack looks cool, I have to say. It looks really, really cool. I wonder, does it light up? Just really quickly, a recap on what he comes with. So, obviously, you have Robocop, and you have the clean, chest plate, the clean helmet. You got the gun, you have this blade type attachment thing, you've got the jetpack, The thigh on the right opens up and you take out his gun. He's got the blade that he's used in 1. I think he used it in 2 as well. Use it at data points and use it to stab poor Clarence. Hang on, not poor. Clarence is one of the evilest villains I've ever seen in any film. That first scene where they attack Murphy's character and his hand, that scared me as a kid, and to be honest, even as an adult, it's pretty disturbing. Yeah, look, worst case scenario, I see myself getting this one posing like this. Hopefully, but the thing is, this is diecast. This could be $400. Whereas if I could pick up the 202, you know, mint in box, maybe even second hand or something like that, for a bit under that, I'd nearly go with that, because I won't use the jetpack, and I could have that now. Then if I go out and get a second-hand version of this, you know, you can have it now, and I'm not going to use the jetpack. So yeah, I think this is good for anyone looking for a Robocop, whether you're keeping an eye on the secondary market and picking up a second-hand one, because the prices might slide, because people selling them might be thinking, okay, everyone's going to get the new one, so maybe if I adjust my price and drop it down a bit, it'll help me sell my figure. This looks cool though, as much as I didn't particularly. This is probably going to make me go back and watch Robocop 3, because I just remember 1 and 2 being good and 3 no. So I need to go back and maybe watch it. So you have this flight suit thing, you have this attachment here, obviously this is where the armor clips into the flight suit, and you have this blade, and this kind of it's like a rocket launcher or something like that. It kind of looks a bit ridiculous. It looks a bit cool and looks a bit ridiculous at the same time. Yeah, so it looks very 90s, which is definitely good. I mean, yeah, I'm torn. Do I go back? I think I'm going to keep an eye on the secondary market, and if I find a reasonable, in search of for a reasonable price, MMS 202 or an MMS 203, the one with the chair, then I'm going to pick one of them up and just pass on this. But worst case scenario, in several years time, if you pre-order now, you can get this. So that's the thing, like, this is like 18 months to 2 years away, I'd imagine. 18 months at the least, I'd imagine. Then again, they have this done. I'm not sure how similar the mold is. Is it the exact same? Looks the same to me. Maybe there are some subtle differences. Yeah, so that's the Robocop. I'm definitely getting the Toby. I'm just going to wait until it drops, because I want to see the head sculpt. The Robocop here, I'm getting a Robocop. I'm going to see the price on this one before I make my decision, and keep an eye on the aftermarket. Again, yeah, this will probably help me get a Robocop anyway. So yeah, let's take a look at the Mighty Thor. I was pretty sure they were going to do this one, and I did say in a pre-order preview for the Thor, for Thor Love and Thunder, I actually really liked the look of that figure, and I don't have a Thor in my collection. I thought maybe that was going to be the one for me. Then I saw the movie, and I did not like the movie, so therefore I now have no interest in that Thor. I really did not like the movie at all. However, I did say that I did think they'd do the Mighty Thor, and they have, and they would look excellent posed together. And if you see some of the photos here, you'll see they do look stunning together. But I just really did not like that movie, so I can't justify spending the money on these pieces. Just simply don't like the source material enough, and don't want them enough. Something off about this chin straight away. Obviously this is like, you know, Mighty Thor based. This font is a bit, I don't know, a bit strange choice. Looks a bit cheap or something. Anyway, sidetracked. So this is obviously the Mighty Thor from the film Thor Love and Thunder, based on the likeness, and I say that kind of loosely, on Natalie Portman. She looks a bit like she's had some sort of dental surgery or something. The chin shape is, I think it's a bit off. This doesn't scream Natalie Portman to me here. I know vast majority of her face is covered up, but there's something I think off about the chin. Now, let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree on that. Maybe it's just me. So you've got sculpted hair coming out here, but the figure itself, it looks good. You've got seamless arms. I love that. People complain about it. I don't really care. I'm getting that Ahsoka from The Mandalorian. I'll just pose it in some sort of a neutral pose. I don't have to have it doing backflips. It doesn't have to be doing a stretch or anything. I'll just have it in a simple pose that looks natural, so that it doesn't like split them open over time. So I don't like these effects at all, not for me. Cape looks good. Body proportions look good. Outfit looks good. I think this is a solid figure. It looked great with that Thor. It looks stunning in the display. Special edition bonus battle damaged helmet. All right, I can't really. Oh, can't really make out the battle damage here. Maybe if you get closer. Yeah, I mean the four of these announcements are very strong. They're all interesting, I think, for their own ways. The Robocop obviously is the one I gravitated towards. Toby is an interesting release. I think a lot of people will be happy with that sand base. This is interesting because they do disproportionate lower numbers of female characters. Also, now you have a Natalie Portman, and the Sculpt is coming. So does that mean that the Padme could happen in that second wave of Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary? Yeah, interesting. They blurred out her face, which means she's coming, but she's not ready yet. So I mean, they're going to have to nail that likeness, and it'll be very difficult. I find if someone like as beautiful as Natalie Portman is young, like she doesn't have any wrinkles. There's nothing with the older men, like, you know, your Krennic and your Tarkin, like, or even like that battle damage Anakin. There's texture there on the face that the sculptors can, like, you know, they've something to latch onto. They've something to apply the paint apps to. There's a bit more going on the face, whereas younger people, you know, the likes of you know, Tom Holland, or in this case, you know, Natalie Portman, like young people, even like Zoe Kravitz, I think it'd be hard to get that likeness right. But very interesting to see what they do with this likeness, because if they nail this and get it right, surely a Padme is next. Not gone on the pose here, but they do look good together. Just, I don't know, something about those poses are just off. It looks actually a bit toyetic there or something. I'm definitely passing on this because I can't get the stench of the movie off me. It's just no, is this the Thanos base? I think this looks like the 1/6 scale endgame Thanos base, everyone's favorite base. I saw photos on Instagram. It looked great together. Maybe it was just very, very small. I think they look awkward and really toyetic. They don't look lifelike together. So yeah, look, this is a pass for me, but I am being biased because I didn't like the movie. But it makes me happy in the sense that maybe the people that want the Padme, I don't collect prequels, but people that want the Padme, maybe there's a chance that it's coming. But I don't think this chin here, maybe it's because they blurred out an image because they don't have rights to her face yet, or maybe it's not finished, and then maybe this is just like a stand-in chin or something. I really don't know what's going on here. It's just they showed this, but I suppose her whole face is not covered, so maybe they're allowed to show this. But I'm interested to see what the actual head sculpt looks like. It looks like on this one. Will they get it right? Because if they get it right, people are naturally going to get excited about Padme. People who are die-hard prequel fans and collectors. Just taking a look at everything she comes with. So it should be the likeness of Natalie Portman. You've this kind of it's like a, I don't know what it is really. Some sort of, I remember the film, I can't remember the exact name. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. You have the broken and repaired Mjolnir, the Mjolnir electric effects. Then it just goes in and shows up close-ups of the boots and the chest armor. The base doesn't look great either, and then 6 swap out hands. Yeah, this is a pass for me based on the fact that I didn't like the source material. So moving on to the final one. So we have the Iron Man Mark III 2.0. This is a die cast and the height has been adjusted. So look, I think all of these releases are interesting and eye-catching in their own way. The Mighty Thor is obviously a hard pass for me because I didn't like the source material. The Toby, that's going to be, I'm going to cop that because I'm going to get the integrated suit and the Andrew suit and you know, without the bases, and just pose them in either the meme pose or landing pose. So that's straight out. The Robocop, I'm going to get a Robocop, whether it's this one or whether, you know, I'd keep an eye on the secondary market. This one here I'm a bit torn because I'm kind of done with my Iron Man. I have the Mark III quarter scale version right here behind the computer. And then I've got the Mark 47 diecast, the diecast Mark 6 and the Battle Damage 85. There are a lot of cool suits out there. I like a lot of the suits. I like a lot more of the suits than I actually have the figure versions of. Like, I love the Mark 7. I love the Mark 5. You know, I like the Mark 1 because it's, you know, it's the first suit. But I'm probably passing on all of them. Like, I'm not going to pick them up. Now this, because this is the Mark 3, it is the one from Iron Man 2008. It's the suit that essentially launched the MCU. I can't just look at this and dismiss it straight away. I see people kind of saying like, oh, another Iron Man. This is not another Iron Man. It's the Mark III. It's the one that started it all. It's die cast. And the other one needed an update. Not only was the height wrong, they had this, there was no torso twist. It's a strange thing. If you haven't checked it out, watch Justin's review on it. So the original Mark III. You don't have torso articulation. What they did, they give you a neutral torso, and then they give you a twisted torso. Like for Hot Toys, like that is kind of archaic now at this stage, especially if you have a Mark 85 and you see the engineering on that. The Mark III needed a revamp because it needed to get rid of that torso articulation. They needed to sort it out and actually give it proper torso articulation, get rid of that swap out part and die cast and the correct height. Let's take a look at some of these images. First impressions, yeah, looks good. I think the head sculpt looks good. It has that kind of the 2008 kind of curtain style of haircut that Robert Downey Jr. had before. It's like obviously very different. This haircut that he had, very different to say the 85 or the Battle Damage 85. A little bit of battle damage, a bit of blood there. I think there's like strands of hair there or something like that. I think they are. Let's zoom in. Paint apps in this looks very good. Okay, paint apps look good in the eyes, kind of the bags under the eyes, the bit of like bruising and redness here, the kind of blood coming through here. The hair looks good. All the kind of gnarled battle damage, scratched up chest plate looks good. I'm wondering now, is it, I'm gonna go back to this. I wonder, does it come with clean parts? That looks clean there. Alright, so yeah, it's very very hard to pass on this because it's the Mark III, because it's diecast, because it's the true height, because it has the torso articulation. The base looks cool as well. I'm not big on bases, but yes, I do use them from time to time. You can see I'm using that Mark VI. I like it. I have the Justice League Superman. The reason I'm using that is because I want him levitating. He has the, you know, that kind of, what do you call it? Not a crotch grabber, the dynamic stand. And because I didn't want him to be like too high above the Batman, armored Batman, I used the Batman stand as well. So I use them from time to time, but I just think the display looks a lot better without them. So what do you have here? Articulated waist, which is like comes with standard now, but they kind of have to advertise that because the last Mark III had this swap out waist, neutral waist and twisted waist. Really weird. But obviously the engineering and the technology have improved. Enhanced armor colors. Inner mechanical details with light up function. I wonder will that be USB powered. Then you have the height difference here. It's definitely higher, and yeah, it's actually proportions are better. I love this, just like, you know, has a little kind of rocket launchers, or kind of like little mini rocket launchers, or I think they're guided bullets. Remember in the Gomera scene, which is, come on, if you've seen Iron Man 2008, you know what scene I'm talking about. He can target different people and these will actually move towards him, sort of like targeted, like little micro missiles or something. This part opens up, it's kind of like a shield, I believe. I've seen him use it as a shield anyway, maybe not necessarily a shield. The two parts open up. I know the rocket launcher comes out. I'm not sure it's a swap out part, you can't really see it there. And then the kind of flaps in the back, you got this battle damaged chest plate. Very hard to pass on this one because it is the Mark III. I'll say it again. Rocket launcher on the left, rocket launcher on the right. Obviously you have your normal light up parts in the eyes and the chest piece. This Ironmonger that he's kind of conquered. Who's he fighting if the Ironmonger is dead? I mean, come on. Looks like the eyepiece lights up. Yeah, they're really going to town, those bases. They're definitely trying to give the kind of the statue companies a run for their money. Very hard to pass on this, but I imagine this is easily in the 400 bracket. Again, I don't have the prices yet. I haven't looked them. I just want to do a video. Yeah. Damn it, I got a message from the 6th scale Padawan today, Keith, and he said, I know you're finished with Iron Man, but I know you're going to get this. Because it's Mark III, and he's not wrong. So let's take a look at everything that he comes with. So, special edition bonus part. You have the helmet. I think Ironmonger actually crushes the Mark III helmet, so that makes sense in the movie. That's if you kind of, you know, I think it's if you order with Sideshow within a certain amount of time. But I've definitely seen other Hong Kong retailers, resellers, like months after that deadline is closed with Sideshows, and those special edition parts are still available. Head sculpt looks great. Yeah, looks like he did in 2008. You have the, I can't see if there's any clean parts. It seems to be battle damaged chest plate. And oh, is that clean? That looks clean actually there. So maybe you get one of each. You definitely have a clean and a battle damaged faceplate, because that looks clean and that looks damaged. Here, this chest plate looks clean and that looks damaged. All these flaps in the back, the rocket launchers, the rocket pods that come out. You've got a rocket launcher on the left and the right, the shield, the light up parts behind the calf, that base and the dynamic stand, a bunch of different swap out parts. So that there's your kind of clean parts and battle damage parts, swap out hands. Yeah, I think Keith's probably right. I think I'm going to go for this one as well. None of these are dopos. To remind you again, I wear the shirts ironically. I really like the 6 scale scavengers. I rarely dopo anything. Really haven't pre-ordered. Last thing I pre-ordered was a few months ago, just because I wanted to have it paid off. It was the Batman and Batsign collection, or yeah, from the new Pattinson movie. I will dopo the 89 Batman, not that there's any need to, I just wanted to get it out of the way. And I'm going to have to start pre-ordering some things, because otherwise what's going to happen is I can't wait for everything to drop, because then it's like everything comes at once. So I need to definitely be strategic. Some things will have to be put on pre-orders, but instead of pre-ordering at the start when things are released, like today, maybe pre-order this in a year's time, because you're still going to have another 6 months to wait, probably. Folks, nice long video. I'm probably going to go live today. No, I'm definitely going to go live today because it's, you know, I hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm really, really happy. I'm excited, and I've cleared the schedule. And yeah, I just want to talk about these with the chat, because it's my favorite part about doing the whole YouTube thing. I'll be collecting for years. I'll be collecting long after the YouTube finishes, that ever happens, and taking photos and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like connecting with the collectors. So yeah, if you got any sort of value from this episode, if you want to support the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know if any of these interest you and which ones. I love reading the comments. I respond to all the comments. I just really enjoy hearing, like, you know, what different collectors like, because, you know, we're all different. My summary on this is Toby is 100%. I'm going to cop that. I'm going to hard pass on the mighty Thor. I do think this Iron Man Mark III is coming home, and the Robocop, I'm going to get a Robocop. Maybe it's going to be this one. I'll check the price point, or maybe I'm going to use the fact that this one has been released, wait for the other prices to drop down over the next few months. Might happen, it might not happen, and pick one up. Yeah, so like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and you can also follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. See you in the next one. Good luck.